Hello, it's Tom Donald from the London Contemporary School of Piano. Today I'm going to give you a walk through Masterclass on Elton John's classic, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And what a classic tune. I mean, every time you hear that, doesn't it just put a smile on your face? It's one of the great pop songs of all time, I believe. The first thing we're going to do before I get into the logistics of adding the melody and playing a big solo version of it, as maybe I was just demonstrating there, I want to take you through the chords. I want to show you some of the techniques the likes of Elton John uses, the likes of Billy Joel, Elton John use in their songwriting, in their piano playing, and then we'll talk a bit about how to get a full arrangement of the piece. So regardless of what level, I hope you find something useful out of today's masterclass. And if you like our work at the London Contemporary School of Piano and you need some extra guidance and help with your piano playing, please head over to our site, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com. We have a whole wide range of wonderful resources, including our free resources pack. But if you really want to go that further step forward, you can also ask about enrollment to our Complete Musician Piano Essentials course, which will really gets you to another level to your piano playing and really free you up at the piano, which is really what our aim is. Now, this piece of music is quite an important piece of music to me personally. I grew up listening to Elton John's music, and it's not only been a huge, perhaps, influence on the way I see songs and write songs myself. I would actually say Elton John is a huge influence on me as a piano educator, which is sort of weird. You would think, well, what does the amazing, glamour and career and incredible songwriting and album discography of Elton John have to do with, piano teaching? But there is something really beautiful about the approach Elton has to writing songs, the way it's very chord-centric and the way that Bernie Taupin sends him these lyrics, and they're not in a room together when they write a song. That's actually been the reason for their massive success, I believe, is Bernie writes these amazing lyrics, and Elton's just got him sitting on this piano, and he doesn't complicate the writing process. He writes the chords above the lyrics. He's putting all of these things together at the same time, and Elton John is a great musical songwriter, storyteller with chords. And I think that's really influenced the way I think about teaching piano to people, because, if we just simplify the process a little bit and we take out all of the unneeded theory and difficulty is often involved in piano playing, and this sort of obsession with exams and rising up the grades and learning 3 pieces of a year and then quitting at grade 4, which, by the way, is what most students do. And instead just look at the piano from the perspective of all the amazing things it can do with chords and harmonies, regardless of what sort of music you're into. You can apply this to Bach, you can apply this to Beethoven, and you can apply this to Elton John. I would say Elton's anything to do with Elton's music has been definitely an influence on the way I like to teach and explain music, and I've been listening to his music my whole life. And by the way, if you do want to check out our resources pack, in our resources pack there is a special Spotify link of some amazing Elton John songs from his catalogue, which I guarantee you haven't heard of, and they are absolutely just mind-bogglingly brilliant songs. I mean, this guy is an absolute living legend. So we've got the introduction here. So it's in 2/2 time, cut common time, you can call it, where you have 2 sort of slow beats to the bar. That's sort of the groove of the music. And so if I really just break this first line down with these slash chords in F major, I get this. And you can use different inversions to do that, and different positions on the piano. That's just the rhythm, and the rhythm is the most important thing, by the way. Don't get too caught up in the semantics of what inversions should I use. Bear in mind, even the likes of Elton John, when he plays this song and in his gigs, in his farewell tour, in whatever, he's had to play this song many, many, many times across his career. I can guarantee you he's using slightly different inversions every time he plays. He's not overthinking it. He's not just trapping himself to play it in one way. So, I can play it like this. But what's consistent here is the rhythm, right? So we got this. And so you don't just want to mimic the original recordings, voicings of the chords. You want to try it in a numerous bunch of ways, and maybe just try it in a way that fits your level of understanding chord inversions. But that's your introduction. You get that lovely walking bass line, and then here at the end of the bar, that quick movement from the B flat over the C to the C to the F. So we're just going to play the chords. Here we are on the verse. Sing along with me, please. I can't get those high notes right. Some big notes in this song. And it's such a great song to sing around the piano, by the way. So let's just break down this verse, this A section here. And it's really good to just practice this just in chords. Don't worry about playing the melody yet. I know I was showing off with the melody a bit earlier on in this video, but just start with the chords. Get people around the piano. Playing piano is a social thing. Get people around the piano and just sing together. Sing the song together. I mean, everyone knows this song, right? Well, not everyone. I mean, some poor souls don't know this song. But, get everyone around the piano and sing the music together. That's how you learn. That's how you grow. You don't play in a room all by yourself all day. So that's really important. So that verse, that's a repeat sign here, by the way. So that happens twice, right? So we do that twice. And then, so all of these chords belong pretty much to the world of F major. That's a chord 2, chord 5, C major, chord 1, F major, chord 4, B flat major. Now the E flat major is like a flattened 7th from the F major scale. Something Elton does a lot, He does it in songs like Circle of Life from The Lion King, for instance. It lifts the music. And the chord 5, back to chord 1. Then we repeat it again, so back to the second line. Now what happens now? B flat minor, E flat major. Please help me out here, right? So what just happened there? I mean, isn't that just brilliant? I mean, I don't want to sound old-fashioned because I love new music. I advocate so many great new artists today. But, I mean, a lot of pop songs today just stick to 4 chords, being looped over and over and over and over again. And the reason I believe why this music has stood the test of time, this song's from 1973, from a double album, right? Think of how commercial that would be considered these days, a double album, because it's got so many songs that can't fit onto one record. And it stood the test of time because the chords tell this story. There's this musical narrative. And so, you got the verse where you got the chord 2, 5, 1, 4, the flat and 7. And then you got this sort of pre-chorus, this B section. So what's happened here? So these chords come from the world of F minor scale without there being an F minor chord. So the music sort of moved into the key of F minor. And, chords that are associated with the F minor scale would be chords like B flat minor, E flat major, A flat major, D flat major, chords like that. So what Elton has effectively done is he's moved into F minor without moving into F minor. It's like a deceptive move. And so the music really just lifts and changes, and you can feel that. So let's just go into that pre-chorus again. I'll just go from the end of the second verse, maybe from that E flat major chord, so we can hear that shift and change. Us 4. It's a real Elton thing to do. It just works so well, right? So let's have a look at the chords that are going on in the chorus. So we move back into the key of F major. We get chords like F major, A7, B flat major, F major, D7, G7, C7, F major, D minor, A7, B flat major, D flat major. So much is going on here. Again, we've just got even more chords. We've built in, Elton John is building this grander musical narrative. It's continuing to grow and expand. So, I mean, those first few chords of the chorus, you know, we got chords like D7, G7, C7. It almost reminds me, it's almost reminiscent of old musical theatre, Broadway type stuff. Or, I don't know, pub piano. It's got that feeling to it. Goodbye, yellow brick road, where the dogs of society howl. It's sort of, again, that's another chord from the F minor world, and it completely interrupts everything. I finally decide where my future lies, beyond the So then after the chorus, it goes back to that pre-chorus again, and those chords from that F minor realm occur again, and then it takes us to the end of the coda on the F. And then the whole thing just occurs again for the third and the fourth verse. What do you think you're doing? I bet they'll shoot you down the plane. It'll take you a couple of vodka and tonics to set you on your feet again. You're going to have to help me with the singing. I mean, the notes are so high. But, you know, this is such a great song to sing around the piano with friends. You know, even if everyone's struggling to hit the notes. I mean, that's part of the fun, right? That's part of the sport of getting songs like this around the piano. So I hope you've got some really good insights onto the structure and the feel of this song, and what an incredible tune it is. So I'm going to finish off by now adding the melody on the piano to the tune, which is a little bit more of a specific skill. I mean, even the likes of Elton, he hasn't written this to be piano repertoire only. The piano's playing the chords and he's singing the melody, and that's how it's always been with this song. But when you make an arrangement on the piano, how are you going to add the melody, which was sort of traditionally done vocally? How are you going to add the melody on the piano? And this is something that really is difficult for a lot of people because, I mean, firstly, it's not an easy skill to learn, but I'm going to show you some pointers into moving into that skill. And we have another video on our YouTube channel actually on Let It Be, the great Beatles tune, and that's a good tune to start with in learning these skills. So I'll tell you the first thing that you don't do when you add the melody on the piano is you don't play the melody in the right hand and the chords in the left hand. It just generally sounds pretty terrible. I'll demonstrate what it sounds like very briefly. Right, it just sounds naff. So what we actually want to do is we want to integrate the melody and the chords together in the right hand. And that might mean you need to do some right hand only practice. To get these sort of shapes. So with that in mind, I'm now going to play the whole tune as a piano solo with the melody. I had to sort of give it a bit of gospel treatment. These chords to me ask for a little bit of that, particularly when you play it as a solo piano piece. Because for me, the last thing I want to do with a beautiful song like this, if I am playing it as a solo piano piece, if I have to play it like that as a solo piano piece, is I don't want it to sound like cocktail piano. I want it to sound really beefy, so sort of adding some of those gospel ornaments. And we do have some other videos on some gospel blues piano on our YouTube channel. But, if you're really serious about moving to the next steps in your musical journey, I have curated a course known as the Complete Musician Piano Essentials course. It has changed the lives of people all throughout the world. It is a structured 8-module course that covers what I believe are the most critical elements of how to free yourself up at the piano and not be in your own way, to really free up and feel that closer relationship to music, which so many people just haven't had the opportunity to do that. They've been studying their whole lives and they just haven't broken through that. And that's really what the Complete Musician Piano Essentials course is about. And as I was saying earlier in this video, to me, it's really been influenced actually by the likes of Elton John. Because Elton's just one example of many. There are other great pianists that have really influenced me, but Elton has, through his career, he takes action when he writes music. I mean, he's not a perfectionist in the sense that, he's got so many albums on that discography. And by the way, just email us if you want to know about that special Spotify playlist I have of all the unknown Elton gems in the discography. But he's just happy to sit down with those lyrics that Bernie has and just put chords over those lyrics and make songs and not overthink and overcomplicate the process. And that's why he has released so much incredible stuff over the years, some of it often better than others. That's what being an artist is about, by the way, is just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what happens and not being a perfectionist and getting in your own way. And Elton's been doing this for decades and decades. So I think that's why some of his influence and approach, from where I see it from the distance, is in my own understanding of music education. And whilst the Complete Musician Piano Essentials course covers many styles of music, from jazz, blues, classical music, pop music, it covers a whole wide range of genres. It's the approach of freeing yourself up, feeling free at the instrument, feeling free in your music, and enjoying that process. So if that sort of message resonates with you, head on over to our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com. I look forward to hearing from you.